And welcome, race fans, to another episode in the series race here with the Ultimate Conquest Racing League, powered by Max Graphics with the Man Cave After Dark Xfinity Series. Tonight we will be at Phoenix International Raceway. This is the legacy track that's just 1/100th over track length, so a mile, so 1.01 miles here. With 76 degrees outside and a track temperature of about 104. It's going to be a little slick here tonight, but the drivers seem to like the car a little bit loose on their laps here. So far practice is about done and completed as we go to get started. But before we go any farther, I would like to kind of throw up where things are all standing here so far within Ucrl. So top of standings right now is going to be JP Phillips, followed by Tommy Ryan, Christopher Bouchard, Justin Kirby, Grady Gherkin, and Trevor Hunt, Steven Johnson, and Mike Ells there for your top 8. And those are the drivers that are up top fighting for the lead here. As you see, JP Phillips finally being able to use that consistency to get himself on top of the standings here tonight to start this race off. But before we go any farther, there's also a little bit of battle. That's the schedule. We don't need that one yet. The team standings here. There's a little bit of battle between the Black Magic Motorsports, inner rivalry there between the Black Magic Motorsports and the Mid-Pack Black Magic Motorsports. The Black Magic Motorsports with 23-22 and Mid-Pack Black Magic Motorsports with 21-47, following closely behind, not too far out, and definitely not out of the running. Turn and Burn Racing with 19:08. Team J Racing's at 13:37. Malone and Ells is at 12:41. Max Graphics at 9:72, and C&M Motorsports there with 6:03. Tonight's race is sponsored by EPI, Elite Performance Motorsports. There, if you need yourself a setup, they definitely have maybe something that will fit your style, but they are the ones for sponsoring tonight's event, along with the iRacing, with Max Graphics, obviously, and obviously the iRacers Lounge podcast after show. So be plenty to give them guys a look up and give them a shout out there as they help these racers get out there and do what they need to do every week. But practice is over. As we're getting ready to go get qualifying here, we'll go ahead and pull up some timing here for everybody so we can kind of see where everybody's at right now. It looks like we have a few drivers on the track trying to set some times in, and it looks like the number 24 of Andrew Ratcliffe is here tonight, not out doing any duties as far as coaching some kids with some basketball. He's going to get that 24 DuPont machine flying around here tonight. But right now, JP Phillips, current points leader on the pole with a 28.217, followed by now Brent Kirby in P number 2. I just want to give a little shout to everybody as coming up on the holiday of love there with Valentine's being here tomorrow, and I know some people either taking the day off or from racing to go spend time with your loved ones, or maybe you're a couple that runs iRacing together. But either way, just want to give a shout out to everybody as at that time of year, I guess. And so we will be, I know myself, the league that I cover on Wednesdays is going to take a break so they can spend time with their families. So no iRacing for Smoky Mountain Motorsports tomorrow, and they're going to push that race off just one race longer. But Grady Gherkin still has taken the pole away from JP Phillips with a 28.175. And making his way around. So still drivers out there getting some time in. We have 22 drivers out here tonight, so it's going to be a great race. This is the Legacy Phoenix track, and you can see in that I'm on the blimp view here, and you can see on the left hand side of the screen there, you can see green grass, and on the newer track, that green grass is no longer there. So you get some really weird lines that could be made through that in the new track. But here we're on the Legacy track. You got grass, so we can't go down there. So essentially, they need to go the long way around here tonight at Phoenix. But two more minutes remaining here, and then we'll get ready to take the field and watch these drivers put on another great show. You know, week after week, just putting in these long green flag runs, doing green flag pit stops, and just putting on great shows. Last week, you know, being out there at California and just having a great run there, and the finish was to die for, and just a great finish. Obviously, runaway there for the P1, but the battle for P2 was just insane the last final laps. So far right now, Grady Gherkin over JP Phillips, Tommy Ryan, Trevor Hunt, Chris Bouchard, Brent Kirby, Andrew Ratcliffe, Darling, Kirby Coster, Byers, Pazuchek, Little, Ryan McDonald, Jake Lesh, Mike Simmons, Scott Bolster, and DeLone are the drivers that have qualified so far. Still, right now we have Mike Ells out on the track trying to get a time in here in that number 8 Bell South machine. You know, see if he can work his way to starting this thing here very well. But we got Stan Hausman and Steven T. Johnson also still need to put in some times there. So far, so good here. Looks like a pretty clean lap so far by the 8 as he works his way down that backstretch. Oh, and as soon as I say something, he gets a little bit loose. Can he save it? And he tags the wall, so this lap will not count. The 8 will quick reset back to the pits to see if he can get. He's not gonna have enough time to get any time out there. So tough break there for Mike Ellis, as he's not gonna get a time in, and it looks like he will start 21st. So qualifying is done, and we're getting ready to start this race here at Phoenix. And I believe it's not only going to be hot outside, but it's going to be hot on the track as we watch these drivers continually go around here tonight. I got a little surprise for everybody here, as gonna change up the show here a little bit. So we're gonna kind of hide down the timer, and we're gonna bring up a old school NASCAR ticker. So we got 150 laps. We're gonna show as much screen as possible here. Your favorite drivers will scroll across the top, and every now and then I'll bring up the timing tower so you get a complete show of where everybody stands here, like so. To your left hand side. So I figured this would optimize viewability for all the viewers out there, and hopefully give me a thumbs up or thumbs down whether you like it a little bit better or not. We're trying to make things a little bit better here at Core Racing and or the Core Racing Network for the viewers. Carl Handwork will be joining me in the booth here shortly as he is finishing up a toe biter over there at Talladega with the Core Xfinity Series as they're finishing up right now. So they've only got a couple laps to go as they're running 3 wide over there at that track and trying to get every position as possible. And it's a nail biter when it comes to super speedways, but I think it's going to be a nail biter here tonight as the driver's pulling away here to start this race off here very shortly here at Phoenix. And I just went ahead and made my mouse like ultra large so I can find this dang thing. It has made things a little bit easier, but sometimes I got a couple screens when I run the mouse over. It does not like to view itself, so I have to say, if you hear my dogs squeaking in the background, I apologize. Anyways, we're gonna go with Grady Gherkin, up with Grady Gherkin as his pace car is in, and he gets on a loud down here early at Phoenix as he heads down to turn 1, followed by JP Phillips. A little bit of single file action up front as they head 2 by 2 the rest of the way back, starting with Trevor Hunt and Chris Bouchard in that 59 Nickelodeon machine along with that 28. So the 28's got back out and allow the 59 to go around. So I don't know which line is the dominant line here. I haven't raced Phoenix in quite some time, but drivers here at UCRL give each other room. The sportsmanship is a very high, very clean racing here as they are singling out here. But we'll go back to Peter Krasuchek's kind of stuck on the outside. It looks like he's going to fall in front of Jeremy Little in that number 26 meat stick machine. A great job so far. Looks like the field is starting to just go single file. As 150 laps around here at Phoenix is one thing, and to try to get them tires in and save these tires, get around here at a good clip and not be the slow car after 10 laps is another. And that's always, like I know you guys have heard me in the past talk about my struggle with saving tires, yeah, looking to see who wins it here tonight. We had Tommy Ryan with a great finish last week, and even not being a big fan of Auto Club, but having a good finish. So I think my eye's on the 99 again tonight as he had a pretty good start here. But I would not count out that number 24 of Andrew Ratcliffe. Tries to do his best as far as the times that he misses around here. But right now, Andrew Ratcliffe sitting in that number 6 spot, followed by Justin Kirby and Brett Kirby. So the Kirby brothers running back here in the top 10 currently. Had a few bad weeks. Hopefully they don't get tangled up with each other and are able to move that 58 and 57 up front here tonight. And then followed behind them is Jeff Byers in the number 76. Pretty good start here early on. Single file racing all over the track. Grady Gherkin out to a nice little 0.3 second or 3/10 of a lead over JP Phillips. JP Phillips obviously the new points leader and looking to keep that 46 in check, as I'm sure Grady Gherkin will be looking to try to get his points lead back. And so right now at 22, Spider Machine looking great here again tonight. So far, Tommy Ryan in third place right now. Trevor Hunt's in fourth with that Nickelodeon Ren and Stimpy. I'd like to see that 59 up on the podium, and even a win here tonight would be great for the number 59. It seems like he has some pretty good pace there. But if Chris Bouchard has anything to say about it, he's going to get that 28 machine up there as well. As I think he just had some bad luck last week, but trying to get out of that slump and put that 28 back up front on the podium, get back up here in the booth to have a chat with us. Andrew Ratcliffe currently up 2 spots right now in 6th. Like we said, long race here. We're on lap 8 of 150, and just plenty laps remaining here, and there's no reason at all to get super aggressive, and because you need to be able to finish this race, and they have not had very many cautions here, and I would not expect anything different here tonight. But you see a little bit of pass. You see a pass there by the 57 of Brent Kirby underneath his brother on the 58 of Justin Kirby. So it's the Kirby brothers switching them up just a little bit.
Getting nicer, Jimmy. Do we need to bring back up the Kirby rivalry? I mean, it has been dormant for a little bit too long. I think we need to bring a little spice back into this brotherly. I mean, they hate each other. I'm waiting for them to just get into each other on the track. But it sounds like it was a clean pass. I'm a little disappointed, but I'm happy to be joining you over here for the race here for UCRL at Phoenix.
It's been a good start so far. 10 laps in right now. Just kind of the drivers settling down. It's a long one, 150 laps. but it's single file right now, and everybody's doing a great job. Grady Gherkin, out there, he was on the pole, and JP Phillips, the new points leader, sitting in second place right behind him. Last week, winner Tommy Ryan's in third. So, anybody could win this race. There's a lot of good drivers in this field, and it is really hard to call like who is gonna like tame the track, who is gonna dominate early, who's gonna come on strong later. So, a lot of great racing out here tonight.
It's a unique track here at Phoenix. Because it's got the feel of a mid type of track. It's got the feel of more like a 1.5 mile track, being having the little tri-oval on the backstretch, but it's also got the feel of your Milwaukee or your New Hampshire, where it's got the flat corners, not that much banking. So it's just kind of a unique track. It's a 1 mile tri-oval, and yeah, we have some other 1 mile tri-ovals. Looking at even Iowa kind of getting close to that, but you compare Iowa to Phoenix, and there's no comparison. I mean, Iowa's got the banking, it's got a lot of different lines. Here at Phoenix, it's completely different, and it's a unique little track. It's I mean, dare I say it's kind of like a mini Pocono.
Yeah, with the different unique with corners and whatnot. I'm hopping on board here with Grady Gherkin in the lead currently. Right now he's heading down to turn one, and you can see the nice settle of banking that turn one has, and then you can just kind of ease your way into the throttle. This is that kind of like tri-oval spot, and obviously with this being Legacy, the grass is no longer there on the new one, and then you come down into turn 3-4-ish, off that tri-oval, and work your way down the front stretch, and you can just see there's not a super lot of banking, and but it is a nice. I think it makes it a unique track because of the shape, Carl. That's for sure.
Yeah, every turn presents its own little bit of challenge. I mean, obviously the backstretch here, being the Legacy, you kind of take it like a little bit of a tri-oval. There's really not much to it. The newer version, you can get all the way down there, all the way to the wall as it's all paved down there. But this one, it's just a little more tame down the backstretch. But yeah, between turn one and turn three, it feels like they never end. It just feels like, okay, I can get on the gas. Nope, not yet. Wait a little bit longer. Wait a little bit longer, and it feels like they take forever to get around there. And we've got a bit of a spin here. The 67 of Jeff Ryan going into the corner right there, and that's going to bring out a caution here on lap number 16.
Yeah, very limited damage there on the 67 as he locked him up pretty early, and the drivers were able to get around him. But we'll go back and see what happened here to the 67 as we'll go ahead and watch from the chopper camera. Oh, and he gets a little shot from the 11, which is going to assist him pulling that rear around right in front of the 09 of Dylan McDonald. Dylan McDonald holds it to the bottom. The 49 of Simmons wasn't sure if he was going to make it tonight, but he had made it here tonight, and he was able to just miss that 67 clearly. So good driving by all drivers all around, self-aware, and I think the closest call right there would be by Matthew Simmons.
Yeah, a little bit of grease on that front right there for Matthew Simmons to slide it on by that spinning 67. But yeah, it looked like Jeff checking up just a little bit early for that corner there, and kind of caught the 11 of Steven Johnson off guard and got him into the back. But doesn't look like any kind of damage for the 67 or the 11 for that matter. So these guys will come into the pits and just kind of re-rack it here a little bit, as just about everybody coming into the pits except for your top four being Bouchard, Jeff Byers, Peter Brazucek, and Matthew Simmons. I guess he figures, you know what, I made it past there, might as well just drive my way right to the front here. But he is those are the four that are going to stay out. The rest of the field bringing it into pit lane, and you see full service for most of these guys, and run off the line, going to be very close there. Looks like Gherkin is going to hold the guys off. Tommy Ryan tried to get all the way up past Gherkin, but he is going to get ahead of JP Phillips. And these guys are going to rejoin from fifth on back here to restart this thing.
Yeah, so pretty good close run up there. Just Tommy getting making that spot up there on the pits over JP Phillips, and Grady's going to want to see that. He's going to need every position in front of JP in order to recapture the lead that he had there for the points championship. But right now, your points champion or champion leader currently is the number 22, JP Phillips in that spider wire machine. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm hoping that these tires and the drivers that were that decided to stay out are we're saving tires just a little bit and they won't have too much issues. 18 laps here, it could mean a lot if the drivers were like driving really hard on the tires. But I think with the talent and the drivers here that we have in the field, I don't think 19-year-old tires are going to make too much of a difference on a restart. But I think we might see it here show, maybe in a few laps when things start piling out where the other cars are able to grip and they are not. So we'll see if this was the right call for those couple top drivers.
Gotcha.
Yeah, sorry.
As these guys will get back going, Chris Richard going to lead these guys down into turn number 1, and yeah, I think these guys on the fresh tires are going to make themselves known pretty quickly. You see already just absolutely just no concern for Pierre Pazuchek at all. They're going around the outside and the inside is Tommy Ryan and Grady Gherkin, and now they're going to do the same thing to Matthew Simmons here for third. And honestly, as Gherkin and Ryan get together, that's going to bring out another caution. Looks like JP Phillips involved back there as well. Again, looks like these guys get away scot-free. I don't see too much damage on any of these cars, and great job at everybody avoiding them. But I was going to say I'm a little surprised of how early these guys actually came in to take tires. Oh wow, just really two different incidents at the same time as the fresh tires there for the 22 of JP Phillips getting loose, and then Gherkin getting in the back of the 99, both causing the incidents coming off of turn number 3 right there. But yeah, as I was saying, I'm surprised. Lap 17, and these guys have a 150 lap race. I'm really surprised them coming in and taking tires this early. I mean, I don't disagree with them coming in and maybe getting a little bit of fuel, or even taking some right side tires. But the fact that everybody was coming in and taking four tires, I mean, is that a sign that these guys really think that these tires are wearing pretty quickly and they need to keep ahead of the pack by coming in and getting those fresh tires? Or is it just kind of going off strategy and hoping this thing goes green for a while and they'll really come out on top by just pulling these guys and gapping them by a bunch?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's some. I mean, they do have 4 sets of tires, over the wall. So, and it looks like the drivers are just coming in, maybe just topping off their gas and to get the start in the back. But the 99 and the 22, obviously, any advantage they had with tires is probably at the wayside now. And then they go to the back of the field. I don't know if they want to use tires early on, as this is the second caution of the race here on lap 22. So 139 laps remaining still, so plenty of time to come in and really, you don't want to go through your tires too quickly. So I'm sure that 99 and 22 have a long game plan in effect now, as you can see them coming down each time here. Whether it's just a little bit more damage they have to take care of, or maybe a set of tires they want to take, or maybe Tommy Ryan was just saying, maybe a little bit too much damage on those tires and want to go replace them. So we'll see what the 99 does here. I don't think we'll see anything but maybe just a splash and go. Yeah. Oh no, see, I was right. So upset with the tires and maybe the way they looked, and decided to get them changed out and start from scratch, as he's gonna have to work his way from the back of the field. But I think that's a pretty good call there for the 99. We've seen Tommy Ryan pretty consistent with his conservative with his tires and fuel, so I think that's going to help him out in the long run, and it's not going to make him fall back any from the leaders or the soon-to-be leaders, as it looks like Jeff Byers is one of those drivers out there. He's going to make this thing go green here right now, so at 76 out front here at Phoenix.
Yeah, but not going to be for too long as Grady Gherkin already looking to make the move and get around. You got Andrew Ratcliffe right there too. Both those guys on those fresh tires from lap 17. Byers, Simmons, and Porzuchek, the 3 cars that have yet to come into the pits. Everybody else has come in and taken a fresh set of tires since the beginning of the race. So may see Byers lead this lap and maybe one more, but I think that 46 is already hungry, looking to make that pass, looking to check out as quickly as possible, and possibly going to bring his teammate there, the 24 Ratcliffe, along with, as they're side by side going into turn number 3. And I think this is where you're going to see those tires really come into play. It's one of those things where the flat tracks, you really feel those tires. You really can take advantage if you have those newer tires, because it's just they're going to want to push or they're going to want to skate if you have those older tires, and the new ones just, it feels like you just have a ton of grip compared to the old ones. And right there you see an easy pass there for second place for Ratcliffe. 3 wide back here going through the kink on the backstretch, and looks like the 26 Jeremy Little going to make his way past Porzuchek, as is the 11 of Steven Johnson. And Porzuchek just another one there with the older tires, just kind of a sitting duck right now, trying to hang on as much as possible. He'll have that extra set of tires for later on in the race, but he's almost kind of hoping for a caution, around this point already, so he can get on those fresh tires and everybody else hopefully stay out, and he'll have the advantage at that point, because again, it's 4 sets of tires. These guys have a full tank of fuel, so if it stays green, you're not using all 4 sets of tires. You're going to be using 2, 3 at absolute most, but probably 2 at this point. So it's nice to have that extra set of tires in there. Just, you never know. Some late cautions come into play, and you can come in and just keep hopping off on those freshies. Feels nice. But right now, he's probably regretting that decision, as he's back to 10th right now. These guys that have the fresh ones are starting to make their way through, but it eventually gets to a point where it kind of evens out, and maybe he'll be able to hang on to that top 10 or just outside of it once they get together. Speaking of getting together, the 9 of James Delone and Chris Bouchard to get together off of turn number 3, and Delone sends it into turn number 1, gets into the wall as well. So like the 9, they rein it in just a little bit there and get it back under control. But we will stay green here, and now Bouchard looks to the inside of the 57 of Brent Kirby and going to make that pass.
Yeah, and this is the challenge here, if you're faster up front, and we already seen the 28 and the 22 up front, along with the 99, so now it's patiently making their way through the field, but they got to be quick, and the 57 goes around. JP Phillips goes high to miss that one, but Brent Kirby's going to go around along with, looks like Jake Lesh. Again, not much damage, but going to bring another caution out here on lap 30, and that might be what some of the drivers are hoping for, especially the cars that are falling to the white side. But we're going to go back here and take a look at what happened to that number 57. Oh, he gets a little sent by the 9 again.
Tagged by the 9.
And the 51 and the 39 kind of run together there. So
yeah, Jake Lesh and the 39 there of Stan Hausman getting together a little bit. Didn't look like too much damage for either car, so hopefully they can get away and maybe just get some quick repair, not necessarily use a fast repair on that one. But that will bring out another caution here, and I think these guys maybe just kind of shaking off the cobwebs. Obviously, the last couple of races for these guys, they were able to kind of open it up here a little bit with Auto Club last week, and then Texas the week before. They were able to kind of hold the flat a little bit more, but now they have to drive on the flat as we're here at Phoenix, and it gets a little bit tougher and a little bit closer quarters, because it's really only one line. You're trying to get down to that bottom. If you have the fresh tires, maybe you can make the pass on that middle line, but typically it's going to feed down to the bottom, and that's where you want to be. And it looked like that's where the 9 wanted to be, on that inside there, and it just got into the 57. Hooked him around. We'll bring out another caution here on lap 32, but as it stands right now, looks like majority of the guys, the top 15, going to stay out, but we do see a good, looks like 5-6 cars in pit lane, and that includes the 3 guys, Matthew Simmons, Jeff Byers, and Peter Brzuchek, all coming in, and they will have the fresh tires now, and now they got the advantage here by 14 laps fresher tires than everybody else.
Yeah, and I think you're going to see them be able to work their way back up midfield. So this is a little bit of a tit for tat with tires and strategy. It is early, as we still have plenty of racing to go. Still 128 laps on the counter, and up there in your top left of the screen, nice big bright yellow here showing that we're currently under caution. But definitely going to see if that's going to play off for them, and in the long run, because you're going to see. If they can get this thing going green, you're going to see some of those cars come in, and maybe it'll feel like an undercut for them, and we'll just see how it all pans out. It's going to be an interesting one here, Carl. I think with these early cautions, it really throws a wrench in their gameplay.
Speaking of throwing a wrench, one of the things coming out soon for iRacing that's been talked about for a long time is rain. And right now it looks like it's mainly going to be released for the road cars as kind of like the starter portion of it. But I'm wondering how it's going to come into play when it comes to the oval racing here, and what they're going to do. Are they going to have faux rain tires for these guys? Because obviously when the NASCARs run the road courses, they do have sets of rain tires that they can use. Will they use them on the ovals, or will it? How will the leagues handle it? Will it be if rain comes out, that it goes under delay, or it the race gets stopped right there? I mean, do we need to start figuring out our pricing schedule for that, Jimmy? I mean, are we going to have to show replays of last week's race while this one's under delay? There's a lot that's going to come into play here.
I mean, I'm going to have to go some picture-in-picture when that comes out. So we're going to sit here and talk as we watch the rainfall on the track. But yeah, no, it's going to be definitely going to mix things up, and it's something that a lot of racers are looking forward to. I'm not one of them, because I have a hard time thinking that some of these drivers, not necessarily UCRL, but especially in the officials, some of these drivers can't even drive when it's sunny and nice out, let alone raining and wet track. So it's going to be an interesting one. And so if you like your iRating where you're at, you might want to just go join a league, maybe somebody like UCRL, and just have fun that way, because I think there's going to be a lot of hurt feelings when it comes to rain and racing in it. So, but I think it's going to add a new dimension to iRacing, and it's going to kind of bring things to life, I think. For the just the overall community, I think it's going to be good. It's just I'm not quite looking forward to it.
I mean, listen, if it comes to the ovals and you get into a league and they decide that if it starts to rain, it's that the race is ended at that point. I mean, it's tough enough driving around. You're trying to figure out the tire strategy, trying to figure out the fuel strategy, trying to figure out when I'm going to push, when I'm not. Now I got to try to figure out when the hell it's going to start to rain. Like, just forget it. It's just too much thinking. My head already hurts just thinking about thinking.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely going to be an interesting one. That's all I can. I mean, I don't know how else to say it. I mean, it's. I don't know.
Well, I mean, even take it a step further, I wonder how it's going to affect the dirt racing. If it's going to affect the dirt ovals and the dirt roads, is it actually going to be make it a little muddy and if a track dries off from so much racing on a dirt oval, will it actually add moisture back to the track? There's a lot of different ways that they can go. I don't think they've gotten to that point yet, and that's why I think they're just releasing it right now for the road. And I mean, don't get me wrong, it looks amazing, but yeah, I agree with Jimmy. I think all these guys that are wanting it and loving the idea of it, and I like the idea of it, but I don't think it's necessarily going to put on better racing. I think it's going to be a bit of a what show until people start to understand what you need to do, because it's going to be slick, plain and simple. But getting back to the race here, we've got Grady Gherkin out front, Andrew Ratcliffe in second, Trevor Hunt, Dylan McDonald, Tanner Coster, your top five. Chris Bouchard now moving into sixth, Jeremy Little, Justin Kirby, Mike Ells, and JP Phillips, your top 10, as everybody's starting to file out here, single file, and starting to see where these guys with the brand new tires, the 14-lap newer tires, are starting to work out. And Matthew Simmons, again, already up into the top 10. Jeff Byers up there into 13th. 14th and 15th are Peter Berzucek and Jake Lech, both those guys pitting on lap 31 as well, getting those fresh tires. But we're into a bit of a run here, as they run about 9-10 laps here since the last caution. So hopefully they got some of the early kinks out here and get down to racing here, as pretty much all single file out there. And again, a lead of just a mere quarter second for Grady Gherkin over his teammate right there behind him, Andrew Ratcliffe, who is hopefully going to be kicking off the part-time shoes here very soon, as obviously he's only here basically every other week with the reffing that he does. But I think these other guys here don't mind that Ratcliffe is not here for every race, as he's certainly a formidable foe. But tell you what, Trevor Hunt is all over the backside of that 24, now looking to the inside for a pass here into turn 1.
Yeah, and Trevor's one of those cars, out there, and drivers out there. I always like to see him do well. He's showed great potential on a lot of tracks, and has ended up, just in a miscue that's not, probably no fault of his own, and just not getting the results that he would like. But having a good run here so far right now. Going to make that pass on that 24, but like you said, the 24 of Andrew Ratcliffe is a pretty formidable foe, but it looks like it's going to give him room there as we head down into turn 1, and he's going to make that pass. So 24 is going to fall in line with that 59. Just let him go here, as it is early, as we're only on lap 44 of 150. Grady Gherkin out front now with Trevor Hunt in second, Andrew Ratcliffe in third, Dylan McDonald up to P4, Chris Bouchard's in fifth.
I feel like that was Andrew just saying, go ahead, I don't want to spend my tires too much here, trying to battle you. He's going to go ahead and sacrifice his position for now and hang on to third place. But battle here, as Bouchard is going to go to the inside of Dylan McDonald. This the battle for fourth place right now. And the other DuPont machine right behind them, the 97 of Tanner Coster, watching this battle go on, as he's got the 58 of Justin Kirby and Jeremy Little right there watching this battle, as well as neither of these guys seems to want to give it up here, as looks like Bouchard going to have a good enough run and should be able to clear once they go through turn number 1 here. And you see McDonald is going to go ahead and sacrifice it and dive back down to the bottom.
Yeah, it's just a counter move, bringing it down to the inside, hopefully able to maybe get the run, or, the 28 watching out. 28, Chris Bouchard was able to execute that corner pretty much perfectly and able to make it stick, and you see the move back there. But Joseph Kirby in the 58 underneath the 97 of Tanner Coster, looking to make that pass. And Matthew Simmons, up 9 spots so far here tonight as well. So not being no slouch in that 49 Valvoline machine.
Well, and obviously those newer tires certainly helping out Matthew Simmons, as he has made short work of the back half of this field, now starting to work his way through the top 10, currently sitting in 8th spot. But you can see he's definitely got speed on 7th and 6th, runs right up behind Kirby and Costa right now, as Costa gets a little bit loose coming off the corner right there. It's going to give the edge to Kirby going to turn 1, but Costa drives it deep, will not give up that position easily, but he's going to wash up a bit, and they'll be side by side coming down into turn number 2, and Kirby will have the spot going into turn number 3. And Simmons going to try and follow suit on the inside, right behind Jeremy Little, trying to look and possibly make that pass as well.
And just throw up the tower for you guys momentarily, as you see where your favorite driver is at. 21 cars still out there right now, but it's Gherkin, Hunt, Ratcliffe, Bouchard, McDonald, Kirby, Simmons, Coster, Little, Phillips for your top 10, then back there in 11th. Byers, Brzucek, Lesh, Els, Bolzer, DeLone, Brett Kirby, Ryan Hausman, and Tommy Ryan is currently 1 lap down in that 99 machine. So Johnson looks to be in the pits currently, and Darling is out for the race. So only 28 cars out there so far. 1 lap down is Tommy Ryan. Everybody else is on the lead lap.
Coming around this time by, we will complete lap 50, so a third of the way through this race already. Once we got going green here, they do start to click the laps off pretty quickly. Only about 28.5 second lap times here for these guys. I should say for their best times right now, running to the mid 29 second range. But you see there, Matthew Simmons still fighting with Kirby, trying to get around him, but he's having to follow him right now. And right now Kirby's doing a good job kind of leading the way, leading him up through the pack here, but gets a little loose coming off the corner. and Simmons going to jump to the outside behind McDonald. And maybe I even think to take it 3 wide there, as feels like he's getting held up right now behind the 58, as again he's got those newer tires and just gets a little bit loose, maybe even brushes the wall coming off of turn number 3, and we're just getting a little impatient behind these guys right now.
Yeah, the 58 can't quite make the pass on the 09 of Dylan McDonald, and obviously the faster 49 is trying to use those pressure tires to get around, but looking to go that way. It's going to tag the wall there. So Matthew Simmons scrapes the wall. It's going to slow him up. So, this is where, your driving style, kind of impedes yourself. If you're pretty aggressive and you want to get around, and they might be holding you up to battling for position. You just kind of got to wait your time and don't burn up your tires. But every lap's valuable time and position to the next position in front of you. So we'll see how this 49 keeps managing these tires, but scraping the wall, I do not think is going to be in his favor if he wants to continue this race here tonight.
No, it looked like he just kind of sent it in the corner there. I'm not sure if he missed his braking point or just tried to go a little bit deeper and just slid right up to the wall. But now it looks like he finally has position on the inside here of the 58 at Kirby. Now the question is, can he complete the pass here and get it done here as he gets a little bit loose coming off of turn number 1, and so going to be side by side heading through turn number 2 and into turn number 3. Kirby has the advantage, and maybe those tires starting to wear in a little bit too much for Matthew Simmons and not able to make the pass. Going to have to settle back in there into position number 7.
Yeah, that's going to be number 7, but looks like JP Phillips working his way back up through the field right now, currently on the outside of that 2 of Peter Pazuchik. Having a pretty decent run there, and Pete number 2 up 2 spots from the start. Followed there by Jeremy on that number 26 meat stick machine, and Jeremy just has some bad luck, man, when it comes to racing, I swear. He always does really, there was a time where we'd seen him on the pole for the start, and then he'd end up at, just something happened and he'd fall back, but it seems that race after race, he just kind of gets tied up in no fault of his own accidents, ends up not finishing as well as he wants to, but pretty rough.
Jimmy, take it off him right now. Take off the camera. It got really close there with Byers. I blame you on that one. It got very close with Byers there. I thought he was going to get into him. Let's go to somebody else. We got Tommy Ryan right back there. He is 1 lap down behind these guys. Let's talk about him for now.
Okay, go to the 99th.
See my point right there. You can have him on the screen. Don't talk about him, okay?
Because I took him off the camera, all right? But yeah. Jeremy just,
yeah. All of a sudden, he's talking about him a little bit. He gets roughed up and loses 4 spots.
Is he listening? I mean, okay, now.
Have him in the peripheral of the camera. You can show him off to the side a little bit. Just don't say his name. Don't talk about him. Just let him go. He's good. He's in 13th. The 26th and 13th. That's all you got to say. The 26th. Don't say his name. But as it stands up front, it is still Grady Gherkin. He has got about a 10.5 second lead over Trevor Hunt. Still very close right there behind him. You see it right there, that Nickelodeon machine all over the backside of Gherkin for the lead. Andrew Ratcliffe not too far behind, about a second behind these guys. They're in 3rd place. Bouchard, Justin Kirby make up your top 5. Matthew Simmons looks like he finally gets around Dylan McDonald for 6th and 7th. Tanner Koster, JP Phillips, and Peter Pazuchik, your top 10. Then you got Byers, Lesh, Little, Els, Brent Kirby, your top 15. Bolster, DeLone, Jeff Ryan, Stan Hausman, and Tommy Ryan making up your 20 cars still in the race.
Yeah, 20 cars is a pretty good number, especially at a track like here. And a lot of leagues like when there's a lot of drivers, but this UCRL league has been very consistent. The drivers show up every week. For like 99% of the drivers show up every week, no matter what, and they're all like easy to drive around. And we know the competition's very highly competitive, as we were talking to the 09 of Dylan McDonald, and he just says sometimes they just make them feel slow. And we've known Dylan to have some great races in the other series, and it's kind of, you got to humble yourself a little bit when you're racing around some people of the same caliber that you are, and just kind of take in what they, how they're driving, and if you can learn something from them that's going to make you faster, it's only going to help you in the long run. But Dylan having a pretty good run here, and we did make that decision to stay out there with them little older tires to get him some positions. But up 8 spots from the start right now in N09, and being the sponsor of tonight's race again, because last week you did the Jimmy Strong there for Jimmy. That passed away, and tonight just supporting CRN there in the car along with EPI. So yeah, good shit out there for Dylan McDonald for not only supporting what he likes doing, but supporting the league as well.
So these guys well into this run here, but these guys, per the briefing, looking like they're getting around 84 to 87 laps here on fuel. So quite a ways yet until these guys will be coming into the pits. But if you're considering that you're going to have to make one more pit stop for the rest of the race, could possibly see these guys come in around maybe lap 80 or 90 and kind of split this second half, or this the rest of the race run into kind of 2 segments and try and keep the tires in the car as fresh as possible. But you bring into play, of course, if a caution comes out, then you're off sequence and could be out of the running at that point. So it's really a gamble. It could end up being the best strategy, but it's a gamble if you go ahead and do that. But looks like the 59 still has a little bit more speed here, and maybe not content with second place right now, all over the backside of that 46 of Gherkin, but he still leads the way here as we complete lap number 64. And again, these laps ticking away pretty quickly here. But I mean, Jimmy, what's your call here? I mean, considering these guys are on a nice green flag run here, if you're towards the front of the pack here, if you're one of these guys in the top 5, do you want to run this thing out and maybe pit around lap 120 if you can make it all the way out to that point, or would you rather kind of split this thing in half around lap 80 or lap 90?
Well, I mean, it's really depends on if they want to just stop one more and then try to make their tires run here. They're running 29.9s right now. They're on the front 3 are on some of the older tires out there. Obviously, Chris Bouchard with some newer tires back there in 4th place, and then back there in P number 6, Matthew Simmons. He came in at lap 31. So, and then got a couple of people out there on lap 17. Dylan McDonald still running in 7th. Tanner Coster there in P8. JP Phillips has made his way up to P number 9, and he came in at lap 21. And then you have a few of the drivers that came in at lap 31 that are looking the top 10. So Peter Mazuchik, Myers, Lesh. So I mean, we go back there and look at those drivers here real quick and just kind of see how they're running. Are they really racing each other hard? Or are they saving their tires? What are these drivers doing? Are they waiting for a little bit longer run? Because these are the drivers right now that you should see creep to the front. So. But does the leaders have enough of a gap right now to be not too much of a worry about those cars that came in lap 31, that they have to work really hard around the field to work their way up through it?
Well, I think that's the problem that the guys like Simmons, Brzucek, Lesh, and Byers are kind of facing right now. They did have to push a bit early and get through the back half of that field as quickly as possible to take advantage of those newer tires. And now they've kind of plateaued a bit here, a little bit, and they're all essentially on the same type of grip right now. As obviously the guys pitting on lap 17 have less percentage on their tires, but essentially it's handling about the same as the guys that pit on lap 31, because they've run so much harder in those first few laps. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see the first bunch of guys start coming into the pits. We wouldn't see just about everybody coming into the pits at the same time, other than the ones that want to try and stretch this out to a late pit stop here. But as it stands right now, we are on lap 70. So getting very close to that halfway point right now. Good, nice little run here. These guys spreading out quite a bit here, and still have a lot of good close battles here. I mean, even for first place right here, as Trevor Hunt just will not let the 46 get away at all. Andrew Ratcliffe starting to fall back a little bit. He's back about a second and a half right now in 3rd. Right behind him, Chris Bouchard starting to reel him in just a little bit, lap by lap here, as it's down to about 3/4 of a second there, the gap between 3rd and 4th. You got to look back another second and a half to Justin Kirby there in 5th place, as he has finally gotten away from the charge of Matthew Simmons, who sits about 2.5 seconds back there in 6th place. So not sure if he wore out those tires, if maybe a little damage from that wall has hurt him at all, but he is sitting still in 6th place. Dylan McDonald sitting there in 7th place, doing a good job, just kind of riding this thing out. Tanner Coster seems like he's kind of settled into 8th place as well. You see right behind JP Phillips has been trying to work over Tanner Coster and trying to make his way up into the top 8, but just settled in there right now in 9th. And then rounding out your top 10, Peter Brzucek right behind JP Phillips and trying to just mirror whatever he does. If he goes for a move, he's trying to stick right with him and move his way up through the pack. But either way, hanging back there in the top 10.
Yeah, and that's just, like I said, this race is almost we're working on the halfway mark here, Carl. I mean, we're at 73, we need to hit 75, and it won't be but another minute. So we'll call it close enough, and we'll say about halfway. But these drivers are just having, a little simple slip-ups there early on, bringing out 2 cautions. But ever since then, it's been nothing but green and looking to go the distance here for that pit stop. So we're looking at roughly 84 to 87, and maybe with that caution in there, maybe 90 laps. And with the drivers pitting around lap 17, I mean, you're looking at lap 100 or so before these drivers start thinking about coming in here. And by then, they only have 50 laps remaining. And they'll definitely be able to make it the rest of the way. But there's still some strategy on the table when it comes to the pit stop. So, whether somebody's going to come in a little bit early and take 4 tires, or they want to just run this thing out as long as possible. And I think if I've already been in, I'm going to try to... Ooh! You see Peter Brzucek getting a little sideways there, as JP Phillips was able to get around them. But trying to bring that 2 down and follow that 22. And almost lost it, but a good catch there by Peter Brzucek.
So taking a look ahead a little bit, as Phillips looks like he finally gets into the inside there at Coster, but looking at the schedule for next week, unfortunately, Jimmy, maybe earmuffs, Jimmy, we head to a short track next week.
Oh, no.
That being the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway, another 150-lap race, but that being around the 6/10 of a mile short track there at Nashville. And that place is almost as bumpy, if not as bumpy as Rockingham. It's a very rough track getting around there, and it can be a fun little short track if you're into that, but it can be a nightmare if you're not. So these guys maybe getting ready for that a little bit, as we certainly had some close quarter racing here tonight at Phoenix, and Trevor Hunt trying to set up the same pass that he did on Gherkin's teammate, trying to get that run off of turn number 3. He is going to poke his nose to the inside in that turn number 1, and we got a battle for the lead. Gherkin's still going to hang on to it. He's getting a good run on that outside, but the 59 certainly has some speed and is looking to get to the front, as we'll see if he tries to go for that same move. Gherkin going to slide up here a little bit in turn number 3 and try and cut down as well to try and kind of slow down that run off the corner that the 59 is getting. But Hunt still going to look to the inside here into 1. Pokes his nose out front, but the 46 again getting a good run off the corner. They'll go side by side, but still give it to Gherkin.
Yeah, you can see how strong that outside here is, but the inside will work if you can get it there. So in the 59, Trevor Hunt obviously looking to get by, attempted it a few times now. Maybe he's going to tuck back behind the 46, save them tires up a little bit. That did allow the 24 to close in. It'll be a wall there. They might have fixed that in the non-legacy package, but yeah, the wall's definitely outside. Big thing. You don't want to hit that too many times here, but good attempts, I think, there for the lead by the 59. Just not quite enough to get it done.
Whether these guys are listening to the broadcast or I was a little spot on, we do have some pit stops here starting on lap 80, as we see the 22 JP Phillips in, Brett Kirby into the pits, Jeff Ryan into the pits, Scott Bolster into the pits as well. So maybe the start of a few pit stops. You see Jeremy Little coming into the pits this time by, and these are the guys that are looking to kind of split this second half of the race in half and kind of having a good first run, a good second run, and not necessarily running this thing all the way out and then having a lot more speed at the end. So we'll see which strategy plays out better. Obviously, these guys that are going to be coming out now are going to have a lot better speed, as the best times for these drivers out here are in the 28-second range right now. These guys are running around in the 30-second range. Some of the guys at the front, they're able to get into the 29s, but just barely. So these guys with the fresh tires should come out and be about a second faster than the field, but they will be a lap down as they come out. You see right there, right now, only 13 guys on the lead lap, as Mike L's in the pits as well this time by, as we are starting lap 83.
Yeah, and that's what we're going to see there. You're going to go a lap down, taking tires and whatnot. So now you have to fight to get back in the lead lap. You need to, hopefully the drivers out there continue to drive cleanly and you don't fall farther back than what you need to be. So yeah, it is the start here, Carl, and I think those, obviously the drivers out there now are going to hope that the short pit works and they can make up enough time. And with the field being pretty spread out, maybe the drivers on newer tires don't quite have to work as hard to get around some of the non-lap drivers on the lead lap with the fresher tires. So we'll see how things work out. But right now, it's all Gherkin out front over Trevor Hunt, Andrew Ratcliffe, Chris Bouchard, and Justin Kirby for your top 5.
So far through 5 races here on the season, we have seen 4 different winners, as the only repeat winner has been Tommy Ryan in the 99, and he is currently sitting in the lucky dog position, as he's kind of stuck. He's kind of married to staying out there as long as possible and hoping that everybody that comes in the pits, he's able to pass them on track and stay the first car 1 lap down. Once he's not, I think he's kind of in that position where he might as well just come into the pits and get some fresh tires. But
leaders are in.
Leaders are in. It looks like Trevor Hunt may have gotten a better entry than Grady Gherkin, as he is on the inside there and certainly ahead of the 46. So unless he's got a speeding penalty or an unsafe entry, a good entry into the pits there for the 59 could net him the position as they come out here. But your front 2 have decided it's time to come in, split this last run in half, and now 3rd place currently was in 1st place. Andrew Ratcliffe into the pits as well. It's going to give the lead to Justin Kirby. Chris Bouchard and Matthew Simmons going to stay out. But yeah, you see right there, Trevor Hunt able to get out ahead of Grady Gherkin. We'll see what that does for him when it comes to shuffling back out here. But right now it is the 58 of Justin Kirby showing the way. Chris Bouchard 2nd, Matthew Simmons right there in 3rd, and then Peter Berzucek, Jake Lesh make up your top 5. But right now the top 8 have yet to come into the pits, as you got 9th, 10th, and 11th in the pits, but they are going to get shuffled back right now as Hunt and Gherkin are going to make their way by. And this right here is not a battle for position. The 58, Brent Kirby is back there 1 lap down. And you see how much more speed these guys have with these fresh tires, just able to drive pretty much wherever they want on the track and make the passes.
Justin Kirby being the leader, and you can see the 59 on them fresh tires just make his way by along with 46 of Gherkin right there. You got Chris Bouchard and now currently in 2nd behind Justin Kirby. So I'm sure these drivers here that are currently in the lead are maybe stretching it out here. I think, if I'm not mistaken, they were some of the drivers that stayed out a little bit longer than the others. I'll go ahead and bring up the tower here just for a quick show on what lap when they pit. But you see Justin Kirby there. It came in on lap 17. Bouchard 23rd. Lesh and Pazuchek and Byers all lap 31. DeLone still hanging in there too at P6 on lap 17. Hausman's on 31, but Trevor Hunt with the newest tires is on a mission to get back to the front to take advantage. But the 58 to 28 are not going to have too much more up it. They come in so they don't lose too much time to get them fresh tires as we go over here to lap 91.
Taking a look and see, and it looks like Jake Lesh, Peter Brzucek, and Jeff Byers all going to stay out yet. So they will be 1, 2, 3, and you see them all right there on your screen.
Anything can happen, Carl. With these. I mean, obviously in this league we've seen some really long green flag runs because they do run full fuel, and full fuel. Scott makes the setups, and they just have some great runs. So it really comes down to it. But we've seen accidents, cause people to lose races because their decision was too early to come in. Thinking that their strategy was good to go, but you'll see what these two drivers need to do right now. But Jake Lesh and Peter Brzucek obviously battling here for the lead, as Byers is not too far behind.
Yeah, your top three right there on the screen, and it's not the guys you've been seeing for most of the race, because these guys are still sticking it out there and trying to run this thing out as long as possible under green, hoping to catch these guys off guard, get back up there to the front end. You see not much left to the back of the 76 there of Byers, but still got plenty of speed. I guess the front of the car is good enough to make up for the back of the car, as he is running down these guys in first and second, and about to throw a blanket over the top three, and only a second separating your top three right now. Heading down the front stretch, a little bit of a bobble there from Byers, but these guys are going to try and stretch it out as far as they can, and then take their tires, and hopefully that can be under caution for them. That would be the best case scenario, but even still, they're kind of married to this situation right now. Coming up on 56 laps to go at the line here, so still quite a ways to go in this race, but there you go. The two of Brzucek going to dive it off into pit lane, going to sacrifice second place, so that leaves first place Jake Lesh, then get Jeff Byers in second. James DeLone going to stay out one more time, as is Stan Hausman. So your top four have yet to come into pit lane, but Trevor Hunt is starting to run these guys down, and will start making his way up through the top four by himself on those fresh tires very soon.
Yeah, it's very interesting to hop on board and just kind of watch these drivers get around the track, and we can to see how anxious I believe the 59 is to get back up to the front and start getting some laps led here, as he's completely deserved it throughout all the races that we've watched. It's 59 taken, so you can see Peter Brzucek coming out up the lane there, right in front of Trevor Hunt, and then fresh new tires. So we'll go back top side there so we can see what's going on around. But yeah, there's the two of Peter Brzucek. He's not going to be any issue for the 59 as of right now, as the 59 works underneath the 9 of James DeLone, that is in fourth place.
And that moves Trevor Hunt up into third, and Grady Gurkin not too far behind. He's in fifth. We're about to work on DeLone himself to move himself up into fourth position. These two guys are the class of the field right now. Andrew Ratcliffe not too far behind, and still keeping these guys within sight, but he is back there in third place right now. Once the pit cycle cycles out, as we still have Jake Lesh, Jeff Byers, and James DeLone and Stan Hausman yet to come into pit lane, so these guys really stretching it out again. 84 to 87 was what we were told is the pit window for these guys if they stretch it out. And obviously for guys like Lesh and Byers, they have quite a ways yet before they have to come into the pits to get that fuel. But the question is, with how much time they're giving up here lap after lap, when do they decide it's just time to come in right now anyway?
Yeah, right now they're doing a good job, and I think they're where they kind of want to be. I mean, especially the drivers out front. Obviously, Jake Lesh is still, like you said, married to his decision to stay out. Hope for that late caution, or the tires will just be that much better here, because there is still a lot of laps left, Carl. I mean, there's still 52 laps remaining. About to be 51 as they cross the line here. So we just hit the start of lap 100. Plenty of laps remaining, for Jake Lesh to maybe take advantage of the newer tires, because I'm sure the other drivers, are hoping that whatever time that they're out there now is going to be enough to, put Jake Lesh, back in the pack. So we'll see if stretching these out will pay off for Jake here in the end, obviously. But right now, doing a great job up front. It looks like the 8 of Mike Ells is looking to get around the 51. So
I think the problem that the guys like Jake Lesh and Jeff Byers are falling into right now is James Malone is going to be coming into the pits this time. They kind of need to be out there long enough for the guys with the newer tires to kind of plateau and start to fall off time-wise. Right now, they're still running low 29-second lap times when your best times are in the high 28s, so that they wouldn't be gaining that much. And knowing that you lose a lap coming into the pits, it doesn't bode well. I mean, if they come in right now, excuse me, they'd be right about a lap down, if not just about there. So they'd really have to come around the entire track to have a chance at the win. It doesn't mean they're going to have a bad finish now. They could certainly still have a very good finish, but they're still out there. And again, best case scenario, a caution comes out for them, and they'll probably bring the entire field back into the pits, but at least they have the fresh tires and they'd be out front and to be able to compete a little bit better. But as it stands right now, again, you still have Lesh, Byers, and Stan Hausman falling back to 8th place, but still out there, still hoping for a caution. But these guys seem to have settled down here a bit and have been running green since I believe about lap 33.
Yeah, nice green flag run here, and you guys of the drivers are starting to think about entering pit lane. You see Jeff Byers finally giving up there his position to come down pit lanes to get him some new tires and gas to make it the rest of the way. They're not going to have to, Byers isn't going to have to take a full tank of gas either. So that will lighten this car up just a little bit, make it that much quicker. Be a little on the tighter side than a full tank of gas, but it might not be a bad thing here, depending on the heat of the track. But right now, Jake Lesh is still out front just by a mere never as the 59 decides to go underneath. So, is this a time for Jake Lesh to go in? And that's, I guess, what Jake needs to decide. Is there enough time for him to come in, pit, take the tires, come back from a lap down, hopefully have enough tires to catch back up to Trevor Hunt? So we'll see what that 51 decides here in the next lap or so. But I think if I'm Trevor, I think I'm pitting soon, Paul. Not Trevor, Jacob.
Yeah, I mean, again, he's married to this strategy, but he's coming to the end of his pit run anyway. I think you'll see him come in at the latest around 110, 112, just to finally kind of give up the fight out front there, as Trevor Hunt already by, Grady Gurkin now getting by, and I'm sure we'll see the 51 come in soon, just even if he doesn't want to, because he has to. But you see how far your second place runner has fallen. I mean, Jeff Byers was running in second place, came into the pits, and is now down in 19th. So just goes to show you how far you're going to fall, even though you're up in the front. I mean, it's where Jake Lesh is going to fall once he comes into the pits, and he's going to have to fight his way back. And you see on our brand new ticker there up front, Byers, your first car, one lap down right now in that 19th position. So a long way to fight to get back. Tommy Ryan has gotten back on the lead lap. He is there in 14th, but he is, I believe, going to have to come into the pits again. He pit on lap 44, so he is not out of the water yet. But the 51 has given up. He is throwing in the white flag. He is. I need some fresh tires. Definitely need some fuel to get this thing to the end. And 51 now in the pits, and he will fall back to the back half of the top 20 here, and have those freshies to try and mount the fight to get back up there as far as possible before this thing ends. But we are getting close to 40 laps to go here, so the hammer is going to have to be down on the 51. It is certainly down for the 59 out front right now, putting a lap on the 8 of Mike Ells. So that leaves only the top 16 on the lead lap here. Grady Gurkin trying his best to keep up right now, but it is a 1.1 second lead for Trevor Hunt right now out front. Another 2.7 back to Andrew Ratcliffe in third. So again, Trevor Hunt seems to be the class of the field. He ran up on Andrew Ratcliffe, and I thought maybe Ratcliffe just kind of let him by because he didn't want to put up a fight and waste his tires, but I mean, this 57 clearly has got the speed. He ran right up on Grady Gherkin, followed him for quite some time before he finally had enough of a run that he tried to make the pass a couple times, didn't stick, but the pass into pit road could be the one that ends up netting him a nice win here tonight as we are 40 to go here at Phoenix.
And, you know, that's, I know we've played it in the past, but races can be won in the pits. And if you're in a league like UCRL, where they have a lot of green flag racing, practicing your pit stops and having good entry and good exits will and can get you positions. And it did here for Trevor Hunt, who's been able to run that 59 out front so far, and got a nice little gap. He's been able to navigate through traffic pretty easily, putting a nice little gap. He got a 1.6 second lead over Grady Gherkin right now, and Andrew Ratcliffe is 4 seconds back from him, so he's got himself a nice little lead. There is plenty of time left for Grady to catch him and pass him, obviously, or at least catch him. We've seen passing a little bit difficult here, as usually when the tires start wearing, you start running that little higher line, and coming down the inside line is a little tougher. So we'll see if Grady's got enough for Trevor here tonight, but right now it is all the 59 out front over Grady Gherkin, Andrew Ratcliffe, Chris Richard, Justin Kirby sitting there in P number 5. Your points leader, JP Phillips, has made his way back up to P number 6. And then Brent Kirby, Dylan McDonald, Matthew Simmons, Tanner Costa for your top 10. Then Stan Hausman, Jeremy Little, Scott Holster, Peter Pazuchek, Tommy Ryan, Jeff Ryan, Jeff Byers, Mike Ells, and Jacob Lesh all on the lead lap. And then you have James DeLone, Steven Johnson, and Christopher Darling for the rest of the drivers here tonight. But it's been a good one so far, Carl. Looking forward to the end.
Yeah, I'm sure JP Phillips would like to get one more position and be able to grab another top 5 on the season. He's got 4 out of 5 so far. Only one other driver on the season has got 4 out of 5, that being Tommy Ryan, who doesn't look like he's going to grab his 5th one here tonight. So yeah, I'm sure Phillips would love to grab another top 5 here and hopefully climb up those points a little bit further ahead of Tommy Ryan, currently 24 up coming into tonight, and Tommy not exactly having a good night, but Chris Bouchard 3rd in points, coming in at 47 points behind. He is currently in 4th, so set to gain a little bit of room there on JP Phillips, but JP having a good, consistent season here. It says not a race where we've seen him at the front and, not necessarily dominating, but looking like the car to beat out there. But certainly good enough to be in the top 5, involved in a little bit of spin earlier. We see one of our few guys left, Stan Hausman, coming into the pits, and that just leaves one more car that needs to make a pit stop. Unless Tommy Ryan was on ultra fuel-saving mode, he's going to have to come in one more time and give up 14th and that lead lap to get one last fuel run. And I mean, you talk about a guy hoping that a caution comes out. If caution comes out for Tommy Ryan, it puts him back in position to be able to get home on fuel and get some fresh tires, maybe make his way up and then fight for a top 10 yet. But excuse me, Trevor Hunt out there to about a 1 1/4 second lead over Grady Gherkin, starting to stretch his legs here a little bit late in the race, as we are down now to 33 laps to go here at Phoenix, as the second half of this race has gone by pretty quickly. They've been under green for about 80 laps or so far, and really doing a good job out here.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as they get in their rhythm, Carl, and away they go. They get really been able to drive these Xfinity cars this series, and it's appealing, especially to a lot of drivers, and to join a league where you can go out there and you can race, and you're not somebody's not out there causing an accident, or a caution's not called every lap, and you get out there, you get to race, you get to manage your car, you get to manage your tires, you get to have some sort of strategy going forward. And like I said, we all know cautions happen, mistakes happen. We're not professionals, we're out here doing our thing, but UCRL does put on a great show, and about as close as you can get to great racing and lack of cautions per race is we've seen it on their flip side though as well, as their 87 league was a little bit different. They were kind of plagued with some early cautions, a lot of early cautions in the beginning of that season, but they were able to clean it up and get things rolling with that as well. But yeah, great racing by these guys here at Ucrl, and especially here at Phoenix on this 1 mile track.
Well, really great racing by the team leading the team championship right now, Black Magic Motorsports, and that being the two Ryan brothers, Tommy Ryan and Jeff Ryan, Trevor Hunt and JP Phillips. Obviously, JP having a banner season and leading the point standings right now. Tommy Ryan, the only driver that has multiple wins here on the season. And then, oh, by the way, don't forget me, Trevor Hunt, out there right now putting in a dominating performance and trying to be the other car here in the paddock in the Black Magic Motorsports, grabbing a win here on the season. Just need to get Jeff Ryan up there running up front and see if we can get him a win here on the season. Certainly, JP Phillips has had the speed this season to possibly grab a win at some point this season. But as it stands, I mean, they are really putting on a great performance early on in the season. And it is very early on. I mean, again, we are only on race number 6, lap 123 of race.
Lap 6.
Yeah, lap 123 of about 2,000 something. Very, very quick math there, but yeah, race number 6 here of 20. So not even close to halfway yet in the season, but Black Magic Motorsports really putting a statement out there here early and really doing a great job leading the team standings right now by almost 200 points over their sister team, Mid-Pack Black Magic Motorsports, and that being made up of Jeremy Little, Chris Bouchard, and the Kirby brothers, Brent and Justin. I mean, if Brent and Justin would just stop hating each other and race together and help each other out, I feel like they'd maybe move up a little bit, but that's just me. But but yeah, either way, a good run here, and this thing is not over, Jimmy, as that lead is creeping under 1 second right now for Trevor Hunt. So maybe Grady Gurk can hold him back a little bit, but not hold him back that much coming off of turn number 3. They're getting a little bit sideways there, really trying to run down the 39 or the 59. That is going to hamper that run back a little bit, as they've got Tommy Ryan smack dab in the middle of them right now, but Tommy Ryan down a lap.
Yeah, and Grady obviously want to get out there and big time supporter of CRA, and along with Trevor Hunt, and great guys to talk to. And Grady's going to do everything he can to to win this thing. But I know if I'm the 59 at Trevor Hunt, I'm like, stay the heck back there. Tommy, hold him up, do something. Like, let me get this win. I know Trevor's been itching. I think we've had him up here a couple times on the podium, but this is, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, would be his first win. But he's got 25 laps to hold off. That's at number 46 of Grady Gurkin that is now on the move.
Yeah, and got nobody in between them right now, as Trevor Hunt is looking to put the 15, I believe it is, the next car a lap down right in front of him right now. But
45.
It's the 45 of Scott Bolster right there in front of him. 24 laps remaining here in the race, and we'll see if the 59 can get it done here. Trevor Hunt, Grady Gurkin in second, Andrew Ratcliffe, Chris Bouchard, and Justin Kirby, your top 5. Then you got JP Phillips, Brent Kirby, Dylan McDonald, Matthew Simmons, Tanner Coster, your top 10. Jeremy Little, Jeff Byers, Peter Brzucek, Jake Lesh, Scott Bolster, your top 15. Tommy Ryan, Jeff Ryan, Mike Ells, James DeLone, and Stan Hausman, your top 20. The final cars still out there on the track. Steven Johnson has parked it for the night in 21st, and then Christopher Darling not getting the green flag here tonight. But we are set up for potentially a run to the finish here in the last 20 laps. Seems like Grady Gurkin just has a little bit more speed here late in this run, running about a tenth or two quicker the last couple laps. It kind of just ebbs and flows between the 59 and 46 as it goes from 1.1 down to 1 point, or up to 1.3, kind of back and forth. It's at 1.1 right now, as Hunt has gotten past Bolster. And it's one of those things where we've said it multiple times. The leader is usually the one that gets held up the most when it comes to lap traffic, because the lap traffic doesn't know that anybody's coming until the leader gets there. And typically they'll fight the leader hard because they want to stay on the lead lap, or just, not go another lap down if they're already down. So they'll put up the most fight for first place, but then once first place gets by them, usually, second, third, fourth, the rest of the field, they'll get a little bit more of an easier way by. So that's why you'll see the leader lose that much time in traffic. But I'll tell you what, now that Hunt has gotten past Bolster, he's starting to stretch his legs one more time, out to almost a second and a half that time by with 20 laps to go.
Yeah, and he knows that the laps are coming down to an end here, and this is the time for Trevor to kind of, hold the distance on Grady. With the only car between them being a lap car of Scott Bolster. So we know that Scott's gonna, race Grady clean. So we're not worried about him wrecking or anything like that. But he definitely wants to be as much space as possible. I don't think there's much space in front of. There's quite a bit of space in front of Trevor Hunt there, I believe. It's this. Looks like Jake Lesh in the 51. So, yeah, we'll see how things go as Trevor continues to catch the back of the pack. If he's able to navigate his way through the lap traffic to a victory here tonight at Phoenix with only 19 laps to go.
So far, so good for the field here. Again, running a good stint here at the end. And yes, sometimes it just takes a few cautions to just kind of settle everybody down and kind of get into that groove. And that's what they've done here, as this is a battle here for fourth place here inside the top five, as Justin Kirby goes to the inside of Chris Bouchard, and Kirby having 4-lap newer tires and able to get the pass done here as he'll move into fourth place here late in the run. That's a pretty big pass here inside the top five, but it's going to be tough to catch the top three as they are out. Looks like Ratcliffe is about 3 seconds ahead of Justin Kirby, and then another 2.5 to Grady Gherkin, and another 1.5 to your leader Trevor Hunt. So the top five certainly spread out, other than fourth and fifth right now. And JP Phillips bid for another top five is going to take a bit of a miracle. He's about 5 seconds behind fifth place Chris Bouchard right now. Brent Kirby, Dylan McDonald, Matthew Simmons, and Tanner Costa rounding out your top 10. And the top 10 not settled yet either, as Dylan McDonald has got a fight from behind from Matthew Simmons here for 8th place. Tanner Costa not too far behind as well.
Yeah, and it's just, this battle's all over the track, and, we've seen Matthew Simmons up front. We've seen Dylan McDonald mid-pack or back of the pack, and now he's mid-pack, and he was up front there for a little while. So there's great racing everywhere. Everybody has a chance, an opportunity to put their skills at a test and to make their strategy work the best. But right now, there's a great battle brewing here between the 09 and 49 for that 8th spot here. And both these cars, Carl are both up 7 spots for Dylan McDonald, 8 spots for Matthew Simmons. So, here are two of your biggest movers for the overall race.
Well, your guess is as good as mine. As I got guys obviously all over the place. I got Dylan up 12, and I got Justin Kirby up 15. So sure, whatever you say, Jimmy. Sounds about right. But I think the only question I got right now is if Trevor Hunt can get this thing done, as Gherkin's still trying to put on a late race move. Is I'm liking the car. The Nickelodeon one part of it, but the Ren and Stimpy on the back takes me back to the childhood, and I'm wondering, if they're good enough to jump on board here for the sponsorship. Is are they going to be giving out any logs to anybody out there from Blammo? It's the whole crew going to get some brand new logs from Ren and Stimpy. There is that was certainly a classic back in the day, but. Just a good, and there you go, you idiot. Mustard right there. But a good run out here. Certainly not an idiot out here is Trevor Hunt, as he has been a very fast one out here. Took a little bit of time to get to the front, but once he got out front, he's been holding steady out there, out to a 1.5 second lead. Yeah,
and that's obviously the battle on the track that everybody's interested in, and definitely watching it. Still good battle in here between Dylan McDonald and Matthew Simmons, as they're only separated by a tenth. And then there's some good racing back there between Jake Lesh Peter Pazuchek, and believe it or not, the 26.
Well played, sir. Yes, having a good run, trying to work his way up there to the end of the top 10. But it doesn't look like it's in the cards here tonight. Going to be a little bit too much of a reach, but trying to hold off the guys that pit late here in this race, and already gotten passed by Jeff Byers there, pitting on lap 103, and pitting on lap 107 is Jake Lesh. So probably going to try and make a run at making a pass Jeremy Little at this point, and Peter Pazuchek right there, pitting on lap 94. All these guys on the freshest tires on the track, trying to make their way back up through and doing a good job, and very well could end up with a top 10 before this thing is over, as they certainly have some better speed than their competitors around them. But they better get done quickly. We're down to 9 laps to go here in this race. The lead out to 1.5 seconds. Again, another 3 seconds back to third place, Andrew Ratcliffe. And really your top 5 seems to be settled out right now, as the closest battle is still between right there Justin Kirby and Chris Bouchard. But you see that's not even actually a battle anymore. Looks like my relative just catching back up here is right there, 6th and 7th. This is Dylan McDonald and Matthew Simmons still going at it back here. Simmons sends it in, gives a little shot to the 09 on the outside, but Dylan, it seems like he was not fazed by that one, and he will fight the 49 and hold on to position number 8 for one more lap. 8 to go here, but looks like Simmons is on another charge and pushing hard here.
Yeah, it's coming down to an end. Only 7 laps to go, and we talked about might be a little easier to catch somebody when you're right behind them, but you have to get that car down in. You got to get it to stick. You got to get it to not wash out and hit your competitor. Make that pass clearly, and as he goes down to that inside, that outside is going to prevail as it comes down the front stretch. So another lap there, won by Dylan McDonald with 7 laps to go here for Pete, number 8.
JP Phillips looks like he is maybe not done quite yet, and still has a chance at this. No, never mind. This is the battle for 6th and 7th. I got my relative just bass backwards here. So it is JP Phillips trying to hold on to 6th place here over Brent Kirby, as these guys battle for 6th and 7th right now, coming down to the final couple laps here, and it is still the 59 of Trevor Hunt out there now. 5 laps to go before he can bring this thing home. And oh, by the way, the lead was down there to 1 second. So Grady Gherkin still put in some charges, as right now Trevor Hunt is behind his teammate, the 99 of Tommy Ryan. Tommy Ryan trying to get back on the lead lap, or at least 1 lap down, and doing so right now. The 46 dealing with Peter Pazuchek right now, who has some newer tires. So it's kind of tough for these guys with the newer tires. They don't want to get involved in the battle, but they don't want to just be out there wasting their time as well. But looks like Gherkin gonna get past 4 laps to go, and you see Gherkin sideways off of turn number 1, trying his best to catch up to the 59, but just making very little inroads right now.
Yeah, and you can see it looks like Peter maybe tagged the wall. I got a little bit of right front damage, so they're just. But I think Pazuchek having a good run, made his way back up to P13 after coming in late and getting towards the back of the field. And so just, they missed timing as far as pits go for this race here, but just, finishing mid-pack here at Ucrl is not an easy feat or challenge. Like I said, the competition's high here. The skill level is extremely high. But Trevor Hunt doing a fantastic job here tonight so far, with only 3 laps to go over Grady Gherkin, Andrew Ratcliffe, Justin Kirby, and Chris Bouchard and JP Phillips after falling to the back of the pack. Took them all race, but he is back inside the top 10. He won't be a big points deficit here tonight to anybody, as Chris Bouchard is obviously his dearest competitor, but looking right now still 2 laps to go with a 1 second gap. 1.2 second gap over. In front of him is Trevor Hunt, who's get duck.
white flag in the air here for Trevor Hunt. He has got less than a mile now to go before he can claim the first victory and the third victory for Black Magic Motorsports here on the season. They're going to claim 3 of the first 6 races here and really put a stamp on the first quarter of this season. Trevor Hunt off of turn number 3. He is your winner here at Phoenix in a dominating fashion there. Grady Gherkin going to come home in second. Andrew Ratcliffe in third. Justin Kirby putting on a charge there at the end, but he's going to come home in fourth. Fifth place is going to be Chris Bouchard there as he tried to maybe give it to his competitors there. JP Phillips is going to come home in sixth. Brent Kirby in seventh, just not making the rundown as well. Dylan McDonald is going to hold off. I believe they're done, yeah. He is going to hold off Matthew Simmons as they had one heck of a battle there at the end. They finished 8th and 9th. Tanner Koster going to round out your top 10.
And then back to the rest of the field. You got Jeff Byers finishing 11. Jacob Leschmuin finishing 12th. He finished 4 spots up, so not too bad run there for Jake. You know, you finished better than what you started, so that's what I always would like to do when I run a race. Obviously, you would like to win, but it's still be finishing 4 spots up on the start. Good run there for Jake. And Peter Pazuchek there in 13th. Jeremy Little finishing in 14th, finishing the race this week. Scott Bolster up 3 spots, finishing in 15th. James Delone up 3 spots as well, finishing 16th. Mike Ells in 17th. Jeff Ryan in 18th. Stan Hausman in 19th. Tommy Ryan in 20th. And then Steven Johnson and Christopher Darling to round out all your drivers here for the field. But another great race here, Carl, and you know, I am not surprised that we have another winner.
Yeah, and I'm not surprised the team it comes from, as they've been, again, really doing a great job early on in the season here. Black Magic Motorsports bringing home another win. So they clearly got the formula worked out so far in the season. We'll see if they can hold it up the rest of the season. But yeah, Trevor Hunt, I mean, he was a guy that we it seemed like we talked about a lot last season. Maybe not as much this season. And I don't want to say this kind of came out of the blue, but he didn't seem like he was really competing that much for wins here early on in the season. You know, coming into the race here tonight with only 1 top 5 out of the first 5 races and 4 top 10s in 6th place in the points, but again, just it didn't seem like too much of a threat. But he found something tonight in Phoenix, and it certainly worked out, and it got him the win, even though it's that's qualifying results. That is why I'm seeing the qualifying results on the screen here. Like, wait a second, did he get a late race penalty there or something? But
I hit results, and for some reason I thought there were race results. So let me click on race and then show the results.
Let's try that again.
There you go.
But yeah, there's your official race results, as he will win the race there by about 1.4 seconds over Grady Gherkin. But we'll start with our 3rd place finisher here tonight, and that is going to be Andrew Ratcliffe. And Andrew, kind of I want to say a ho-hum kind of 3rd place here tonight. You got up there. You were behind your teammate there, Gherkin, for a while in 2nd, but eventually Trevor was able to make the pass on you, and just kind of seemed like you settled into 3rd and didn't really have a fight for the top 2 guys, didn't really have a battle behind you.
No, I didn't, and that's 3 races for me and 3 interviews. Unfortunately, were just not the last one. So Phoenix is not really a track I go to and think, oh yay, but I'm glad. I'm fine with 3rd. Got a lap led, and I've exhausted all 3 of my drops, but it's good to be 3 for 3 on an interview.
Yeah, it's certainly not a bad thing being in the podium. I'm sure you'd love to be up there at that top spot, but it seemed like you guys have had a bit of a rough start there. A few cautions early, but then once you got in the groove, it was just kind of clicking off the laps, lap after lap. I mean, was it something that you were really concerned about, kind of saving the tires for that long run there?
Well, I thought I was saving. I don't know. I was missing something in turn 1 and 2. I was getting blown away in that corner. And it seemed like I would fall back in the beginning of the run. I would gain a little on the middle of the run and fall off again at the end. I don't know. I felt like my line in 3 and 4, I was better than them, but at 1 and 2, I don't know what I'm doing. They were running that second lane and dropping down to the line, and I just couldn't replicate it. But I'm not going to be mad at third.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, this Phoenix, we talked about, it's just kind of a unique track. It's a 1 mile track, but it's tri-oval, and it's almost kind of like a mini Pocono, in my opinion. Just 3 completely different corners here, and you all have to take them kind of differently. But yet a late charge there from Justin Kirby. Were you ever feeling the threat there in the last couple laps?
Not really. I was kind of keeping an eye on the interval, but I knew he didn't have enough time, and I wasn't falling off that hard. So no, I really wasn't concerned about losing third there at the end.
Well, either way, another podium here from you tonight, and you're doing good on the races that you actually get to show up to here tonight. So hopefully, once we get you back here more regularly, we'll see at the top step. But for now, congrats on the podium here. Anybody want to give a shout out to?
Grady helped me a good bit with the line. I was just following him in practice, sharing the brake bias info, and I even tried to make a significant adjustment. I cranked it all the way down as low as I could go with the in-car adjuster, just to try and decided to try and pedal it off the corner, just to try and maybe see if I could get it to turn better at the end. But 3 races, 3 top 3s. If I keep putting myself in these positions, eventually that win's going to come. So I'm very happy with being consistent.
Yeah, as you should. Absolutely. So congrats on the 3rd place, and I guess we see you next week out there at the short track there in Nashville.
Yeah, there will be no more missed weeks. I am back in this car every week. So,
well, there you go. There's a threat to the rest of the field right there. As we'll see the 24 out there more often, and hopefully making 1 or 2 more steps up the podium. But congrats anyway on the podium here tonight. We'll talk to you next week, maybe.
Yeah, hopefully. Thank you, guys.
Good night.
That is your 3rd place finisher here, the 24 of Andrew Ratcliffe. Jimmy, now we take it to 2nd place, and a hard charge at the end there, and try to do as much as you could, but the 46 Grady Gherkin coming home in 2nd.
Hey, Grady, Jimmy and Carl up in the booth. Copy, buddy.
Yeah, I got you guys. How you doing?
Hey, not bad. It's been a little while since you've been up here, but great run by that Sim Magic Chevrolet CRN machine, and you had the pole tonight. I mean, you had the spot, and then that one pit stop that Trevor made, he was able to beat you out coming off pit lane and kind of just left you behind for a little while. You were able to make a small run on him, but not quite enough to get around him. Is there anything that you could have changed to possibly take that win away from?
Yeah, I think the big deal there was the pit stop. He nailed it. I've been burned by my pit stops the last, I don't know, a couple times this year already that have really taken me out of contention. So I came in a little conservative. That was all right, but yeah, he did a heck of a job in the pit lane. And then once he got back out, he just didn't make any mistakes. I was trying to keep some pressure to push him a little bit. I know he's good at saving tires, so I wanted to try to get him to use his stuff up a little bit, but he did a good job, ran a good race. So.
Well, in any case, I mean, you still came away with a great finish, and always fun to finish well. Obviously, on such a unique track here at Phoenix, tell us a little bit how the drive, the driving was. Obviously unique corners, and me and Carl kind of referenced it as like a small Pocono. I was wondering if you kind of felt the same.
Yeah, a little bit. Being that 1 and 2 are completely different than turns 3 and 4. 1 and 2, it kind of tightens up when you get to the, turn 2, the second part of that corner. So kind of having a higher line in and then arcing down seemed to help. Turn 3, you could run kind of the bottom, the middle. They were pretty good, but I mean, same kind of concept though, higher entry, so you could kind of diamond off the exit and have more straightaway speed.
So, with that being said, how was the passing when you were able to catch somebody? I mean, we've seen the kind of that outside, even with maybe somebody with a little lesser tire, was able to kind of like keep the inside car kind of pinched down, unable to get that run. So was that a problem for you as well as you were making your way through traffic trying to trace down Trevor?
Yeah, I'd say most of the guys were pretty considerate and would kind of give you the room there. But I know when Trevor caught me, he definitely had better tires before that final pit stop. He caught me, and then I just, we kind of battled there. He raced me clean. But yeah, I was able to hold him on the outside, but I know he was better. And like I told him, I said if it were for 10th place, I'd have let him go, but it was for the lead. So I couldn't just roll over and let him have it. But I would expect that out of anybody. So, but yeah, he did a good run. It was definitely hard to pass. But like I said, a lot of the guys, when you'd catch them, they'd give you some room. So that was helpful.
Yeah, it seems to be the common theme in this league is everybody is pretty considerate with each other racing, and very limited green flags, yellow flags, cautions through all the races. But how do you feel about moving forward next week and your chances of being back on the podium?
Where are we off to next week?
Next week you're off to Nashville Fairgrounds.
Ooh, that one might be a fender smasher. We'll see how that goes. That's a bumpy track. I do like it, but that's another unique one. But it's definitely very bumpy, so it's hard to get the power down out of the corner. We'll see how the setup feels. The setup tonight was awesome. Felt really good, and you could kind of manipulate it with how you drove it of what it was going to do. That end of that run, I had that thing sliding around pretty good. I burned the back tires off of it trying to catch Trevor. But no, if you depending on how you drove it, you could get the car to tighten up, or you could get it, pretty loose there. So it was another good setup by Scott.
Yeah, we constantly just love watching you guys run around any track that you guys go to. But let you out of here before we let you go, I want to say congratulations here from CRN and give you a little time for any shots you may have for your friends and family.
Yeah, just shout out to the teammates. We had a pretty decent run. Andrew was up here third. Jake, I think, was just outside the top 10. We're missing Tim right now. He's off on vacation for a couple weeks. So, but just shout out to you guys for the broadcast. Hopefully you had some action up there to cover. And thanks for Scott for putting the league on, and everybody out there tuning in to watch.
All right, Grady, go ahead and we'll catch you next week over there at Nashville.
All right, thanks, guys.
Your second place finisher, the 46 of Grady Gherkin. Finally, last but not least, we'll bring in the 59 of Trevor Hunt. And Trevor, it looked like you had a pretty decent car. You catch up to Andrew Ratcliffe and had a little bit of a battle there. And it looked like maybe Andrew just kind of pulled it aside and just maybe wanted to kind of save his tires. Didn't want to battle you, but turns out it might have just been on speed. You get around him, you catch up to Grady Gherkin pretty quickly. Hang out behind him, but it was the pass going into pit lane was that the pass that ended up winning the other race?
100%. It's so hard to pass here. I could get it. Grady was definitely holding me up there when I caught him, and I could get a run off of 2. And you really need that extra space to wash out to the wall to keep your speeds up. And so that wasn't working. So then I tried to back up the corners and stuff and try to get a diamond 3 and 4 and get a run off. And it was just, I was like, it's lap, it's halfway, whatever. I'm not going to keep pressing the issue. I said I'll just wait till pits and see what happens. And when he called his pit, I decided I was pitting behind him, and I got very aggressive on entry so I could get to his inside, and that was what did it. Plus, it helped that I had a second lead when I exited the pits. So, yeah, it was definitely the pass of the race.
So, I mean, up to this point in the season, talked about kind of a mediocre season for you. You come in with only one top 5 out of the first 5 races before tonight here. But everything just kind of worked tonight. Everything clicked. Was it the track feeling right? Was it the setup? Was it just kind of a combination of everything? Or was it just, I'm tired of finishing back here. I need to get it back up here on the podium? You missed us, didn't you?
Yeah. No. So I wouldn't call the season mediocre. Those top 10s, all of them were like 7th, right, or whatever, 6th, I think, if you look at it. So I was just right outside the top 5. So I've been the first few races. I was playing for points. Daytona, we had some contact with JP, which we led the entire race. And if it hadn't been for the net code, we probably would have won that. me or Tommy or JP, any of us could have had that one. But so it's just been the way things have fallen, and just being patient and playing the points game. This race, things just kind of clicked. I put a little extra practice in before Scott released the setup, just to kind of get acclimated, because a lot of these tracks are still new, and as we're going through this with a new car, it's just a new feel. So I got to put a little bit of extra time in to kind of get up to speed. But it's.
You got up to speed tonight. You got your first win of the season, but I got to ask, what is the magic going on right now between Black Magic Motorsports? I mean, you guys claim three of the first 6 races here.
Practice, we have a couple of practices as soon as when the setups are released. We all share information, try to break down the track, and that's what's helping all of our guys run really, really well. So we're not putting a ton of time in. I put a lot more time in than the rest of the guys this week because I needed to. I think we practiced twice for a couple of hours this week here after the setup was released. So, but yeah, and it also helps to have a team full of really fast guys that push each other every week too.
Yeah, that certainly doesn't hurt with the team that you guys got over there. But we take a look at next week, and I'll mute Jimmy here for a second since we're going to talk about a short track. But Nashville Fairgrounds coming up next week, one of the 3 short tracks on the season. How do you feel about it? I mean, it's a different type of short track out there, really bumpy, kind of reminds you of a shorter Rockingham, if you want to get to that.
So the short stuff, if you go back and look at my finishes, the short tracks are where I've really shined. So I feel pretty good about that. I think I did fairly well, or ran well at least, at the fairgrounds when we were there. I can't remember if it was the 87s or the Gen 4, but yeah, I feel pretty good about it.
All right, well, we'll see what you can do next week at Nashville, and then we head to Michigan, Charlotte, and Circuit Gilles Villeneuve to round out the first half of the season. But I mean, you guys obviously have been the class of the field there in the team standings for sure. Taking home half the wins so far. You came in 6th in the point standing, but should be able to move yourself up into the top 5. So great start to the season, even though it seemed mediocre for me looking at Trevor Hunt and seeing just one top 5, and it's just I feel like we're so used to seeing you up there battling for more wins, but just circumstances don't always come into play. But damn, the circumstances tonight. You just had a fast number 59, and you just ran away with this thing. Congrats on the win. Who do you want to give a shout out to tonight?
First, I just want to shout out to my wife. We found out that she has lupus this past week. And so she's getting ready to go on a bit of a journey to kind of get that stuff sorted out. So she lets me do this, and I can't thank her enough for that. Shout out to the team. Without those guys, I wouldn't be getting faster as fast as I am, and also being able to race people as closely and confidently without those guys pushing me around in practice. So, and then all the guys in the league for racing respectfully. This season has been crazy good. The racing has been super clean, and everybody. I think in the league should pat themselves on the back for that. It's been fantastic. So, and then you guys for the broadcast, you guys can stop giving me crap about not winning on a broadcasted race or series. Yep. Yep. So thanks a lot to you guys for ribbing us. Those of us who should be doing better than we sometimes do. So
see, and that's why I say it's mediocre in my opinion for you.
I wasn't offended. I wasn't offended. I had to spin it, Carl.
All right. I got it. Well, it's good you spin it after the race and not during the race. So that's good. That's good.
Touche.
One last question. I mentioned the Ren and Stimpy on the back. Does the team all get brand new logs after this race?
Blammo? Blammo logs? Yeah. So I'm going to have to make them some Blammo logs.
I mean, it's better than bad. It's good. So
yes,
it was a good race for you tonight for sure. Congrats again on the win, and hopefully we'll be talking to you next week at Nashville.
Thank you.
That is your winner here tonight, the 59 of Trevor Hunt. And yeah, I mean, all in all, I think a pretty good race here at Phoenix. This is a tough little track. It's not a short track. It is a mile, but it certainly has some characteristics of a short track, and it's got the characteristics of your 1 mile flat tracks. Like I said before, your Nashville, or not your Nashville, your New Hampshire's or your Milwaukee's, but it's just kind of unique, and it certainly seemed to be eating up the tires a bit here. And the better guys, the cream of the crop, rose to the top there. A couple spins by some guys early kind of put them back behind the 8 ball early on in the race, and it was a fight back from there. And really with the long green flag run there to kind of end the race, there was no coming back for some of them. But either way, great run for your top 3 here tonight: Trevor Hunt, Grady Gherkin, Andrew Ratcliffe, and then Justin Kirby, Chris Bouchard rounding out your top 5. Good race here, Jimmy, at Phoenix. Next week, I know it's short track, but again, we get to enjoy it from up in the booth. Don't have to run it.
Yeah, I'm definitely a fan of going and watching the short tracks. You get to see more cars and a lot more of them as they pass by for many, many laps. And I think it's going to be some great racing. And just like Trevor said, shout out to all the drivers that show up every week. And they've been very clean this season so far. Very minimal cautions and mistakes, and if you're finishing in the back, you probably made a mistake, whether it was a spin, an improper pit stop, or speeding on pit lane or whatever it may be, and obviously hopefully everybody learns from those mistakes and moves forward to the next week and get yourself better. But it's going to be hard with this action and the talent that's in here. But the race results for tonight, as we've already talked to Trevor Hunt, Grady Gherkin, and Andrew Ratcliffe for the top 3. In 4th was Justin Kirby. 5th, Chris Bouchard. JP Phillips in 6th. Brent Kirby in 7th. Dylan McDonald in 8th. Matthew Simmons in 9th. Tanner Koster in 10th. Jeff Byers 11th. Jacob Lesh in 12th. Peter Przuchek in 13th. Jeremy Little 14th. Scott Bolster 15th. James DeLone in 16th. Mike Ells in 17th. 18 was Jeff Ryan. And then the rest of your field will be Stan Hausman in 19th, Tommy Ryan, and Steven Johnson, and Christopher Darling for our 22 drivers here tonight. But congratulations to everybody. Hope to see you all next week. I'll turn it over to Carl for his closing thoughts before we get out of here.
Yeah, I just want to give one final thank you to the sponsor here tonight, Elite Performance Industries, powered by Norse Force. Thank you to the sponsor for the season, Max Graphics, and all the guys over at Ucrl. It's been a fantastic season so far through 6 races, and we still get to enjoy 14 more for these guys. Hopefully, all you are on board for the rest of them. If you haven't done so yet, please hit that like and subscribe and tune into everything that CRN has to offer. But for myself and Jimmy here at Phoenix, we'll see you at the track.